One of the absolutely best recipes you probably have never heard of is Lichiu, L-I-C-H-I-U, or Romanian Crème Fraîche Cake. I learned this recipe in a small Saxon village in Transylvania from a local baker who made it in these huge trays and cut it into squares. It was so good, I think I had 4 or 5 pieces. It is sophisticated, it's delicious, it has different textures. It's sort of a grown-up lemon bar. First is the dry ingredients, all-purpose flour, sugar, and salt. Then we have some milk, a couple eggs, some yeast, and some zest. So, medium-low. Don't you love it when your stand mixer gets up and leaves? I mean, to be fair, this is a really dense dough at this point. Now it's going to start to get a little sticky. It's going to smear along the edges of the bowl. I went through a phase where I liked every new gadget that came along. And now I'm in a phase of, I'm less interested in performance sometimes than I am, I know this sounds stupid, but how I feel about cooking with something. I like the feel of a knife, the feel of a pot, to feel like it's something that is part of the family, part of the kitchen. So we're just gonna put it down at the bottom, cover it, let it sit for about an hour and a half. This is a great trick if you want to get something out of a square pan or rectangular pan, piece of parchment. Usually we spray or butter the pan, put the parchment on, and then also grease it again. So which means when it's baked, you can pick it up by the handles. Flour my hands a little.
What would you call this technique?
Smushing. You definitely want to smush it down. Let it sit for half an hour or so, and we'll now make the creme fraiche, which is creme fraiche with a little sugar, salt, 2 egg yolks. Okay, that's good. The filling, we start with some milk. We bring that up to simmer. We have sugar and salt going in, just stir to dissolve. Now we're going to add the semolina. Semolina is from a very high gluten wheat. It has a grit to it, and this will start to thicken the mixture, where it'll get a little custardy on the bottom.
Do you have a philosophy about baking now?
You can't go into cooking worried about stuff, right? I mean, if you go into the kitchen always worried that something's going to be hard, it's going to take too much time, I don't think you're going to enjoy it. You just have to go in the kitchen looking forward to cooking. Okay, it's starting to stick. It's very thick. I say it's good to go. You always add vanilla at the end so you don't cook off all the volatiles, the flavor, and some zest. Okay, we're gonna let that cool about half an hour. And now we're gonna finish up the assembly. Good little tip is if you're using egg whites in a dessert, I take a tablespoon or 2 of sugar and throw it into the whites once they start frothing. It just makes them a little bit more stable. Whites can go in 10 seconds from one thing to another. You want a soft peak, so it's a good thing to get it close and then just do it by hand. So I think that's about it. Underbeaten whites are not going to fall apart easily. Stiff egg whites will break down, and you're not going to get much lift from them, right? These 3 layers are going to make you completely lose your mind. And you're going to move to Transylvania next Monday. 400-degree oven, about 35 minutes. It's cooled for 30 minutes on the rack, and now it's got to cool without the pan for at least half an hour or so until it's cool. Okay, it's now, well, I don't really care if it's cool, but it's time to eat it. Let me put it that way. You can see it has a crust layer, it has a custardy middle, and then on the top, that final creme fraiche layer. It's like if you made a lemon bar, but you wanted a really good lemon bar. It's not as sweet. It's not as acidic. Wow. You gotta love Romania.